Ladies and gentlemen of physical science, this is an epic day. This is the last trend of the periodic table that you need to know. For some of you, this is like, oh my goodness, enough already, right? This is the last one, I promise, and it is electronegativity. I promise you, I am not making that up. The last trend of the periodic table, of course, has something else to do with electrons. I told you weeks ago that after we learned what the parts of the atom were, the electrons would be the ones that we would focus on the most. So here's the basic definition. When we say the word electronegativity, what we're talking about is an atom's desire to attract electrons. Okay? How bad do they want electrons from another atom? And that is the electronegativity. The trend before this was ionization energy. How difficult is it to remove an electron? Well, where are those electrons going? To those atoms that really want them. But not all atoms do. So electronegativity is an atom's desire to gain a new electron from someplace else, one that it didn't have before. And here's the trend. Here's what it looks like. As you go from left to right on the periodic table, as we've become accustomed to talking about, the electronegativity increases. That means that these atoms on the left-hand side are not interested in getting any more electrons. They actually don't want to. But as you go further to the right, these atoms increase in their electronegativity. Boron might want one. Carbon, even more. Nitrogen, for sure. Oxygen, absolutely. Fluorine, oh my goodness, give me an electron. Here's the tricky part about this trend though, folks. Listen up. If you don't hear anything else, hear this. This electronegativity trend stops right here at the halogens. It does not extend to the noble gases. Okay? I'll hit that again a little bit later to drive that point home. So electronegativity, or an atom's desire to get another electron, increases as you go from left to right across the periodic table. All right? It also increases as you go from the bottom of a family up to the top of a family or group. All right? So if we were to put one of those third arrows in, one of the diagonals, only some of you like these, okay? These are not absolutely necessary to do all of these arrows. This would be the trend for electronegativity. It increases as you go to the right and as you go up in the periodic table. These are our most electronegative elements right here, okay? And towards the bottom left, these are the atoms on the periodic table that have the lowest electronegativity. Don't want electrons so much, really want electrons very much. Okay, so in your periodic table, you can either do the diagonal arrow, right, up or off to the side somewhere, or you can do these two arrows, one straight up and the one from left to right. Now, warning, this is what I was talking about. This trend of electronegativity only goes up to the halogens on the right-hand side of the periodic table. It does not extend all the way out to the noble gases, okay? Please keep that in mind. These noble gases over here, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, what is that, radium, or radon? What is that one? Goodness gracious, Mr. Call, I used to have this all memorized. Radon, thank you. Those do not want any more electrons. So this trend of electronegativity stops, and it does not extend to the noble gases. That's going to trip up some of you on the test, so practice it, okay? Here's why. The noble gases have all the electrons that they want. They don't want any more, and they don't want to lose any. They're perfectly stable and happy right where they are. And every other atom on the periodic table is trying to become like a noble gas by either getting rid of electrons or gaining electrons. Remember, on the right-hand side of the periodic table, we have the elements that really want to gain electrons to become like a noble gas. And the ones on the left-hand side really want to get rid of electrons, excuse me, to become like a noble gas. And what are they trying to get? It's this word right here, stability. They're trying to become stable. More on that on another day, okay? Mark your periodic table with this electronegativity trend. Ask questions if you don't understand, and make sure you have your periodic table ready for tests and for quizzes.